A big hello and a very warm welcome to a special episode of Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. Last week went down as a historic one in Indian advertising. One scam ad boomeranged, the chief creative officer lost his job, another agency decided to black out the Abbeys, and with Goa Fest here, the mood is most definitely not one of joy, celebration and jubilance, but rather dark, gloomy, with controversies and a lot of muck surrounding the festival. So we decided to have a no-holds-barred debate and ask some straight questions. Is the race or obsession with awards just greed or a mandate? And how far is too far? Are people opting out of awards signs of times to come or just sheer convenience? And to answer precisely these questions, I'm joined by a very esteemed panel. On my left, I'm joined by Shashi Sinha, the CEO of IPG Media Brands, but more importantly, the chairperson of the Awards Governing Council. Thank you so much for joining us, Shashi. On my left, I have KV Sridhar, popularly known as Pops, the Chief Creative Officer of Leo Burnett. Thank you, Pops. And next to him is Partha Sinha, the Managing Partner of BBH. Thanks, Partha. But we also have Raj Kurup, the founder of Creative Land Asia, who could not make it to the set but is joining us via a video feed. Thank you so much for joining us, Raj. Just to give some perspective, Raj Kurup last week decided to resign from the Awards Governing Council and also pulled out from the Abbeys. Let me go to you, Pops, first, and then I'll get to Partha. Is it greed or is it a mandate?
The ambition within every person is to get recognized by the peers.
Sure.
Because you always get recognized by popularity, which you can gauge and then you get, because that's where the money of your client counts. And it is always nice at the end of the year also get little recognition from your peers, little pat on the back, and that's what you really work and then do benchmarking work, because consumers will not tell you that what else you could do next year, but your peers will tell you. So they push you to do much better work. So therefore, creative business is driven by recognition of peers. And award shows actually cater to that recognition of peers.
So that's a statement coming from a very senior creative person who's saying that, proactive work, or however we want to tag it, is something that's required to up the creativity in this very, creative industry. Would you share the same opinion?
I don't, because let's take two of the biggest global creative names, Dan Whedon, John Hegarty. And since I work in BBH, I can speak for BBH. We don't do proactive work. I'm saying it's not a mandate. However, I also must add that at times it becomes a bit of misplaced ambition, which means for any business, the ambition should be whatever you do should lead to better business. So that has to be the fundamental reason. Now, many times what has happened in this award thing, that it has got no commercial reality. It has got absolutely no commercial reality. So it is a reality which stays within a very close fraternity and hardly ever gets translated into commercial. So looking at some, like whatever, call it proactive, initiative, scam, whatever it is, looking at that ad, nobody gives you another piece of business.
I'd like to bring you in, Raj. You've heard the three panelists. Lots of angst against you in the industry because of your sudden decision to withdraw from the jury position as well as withdraw all your entries from the Abbeys. The question really is, Raj, when you agreed to become the jury chairman for digital, were you not aware of the fact that there would be a lot of proactive work, because categories like print, outdoor, digital design lend themselves to proactive work? So were you under some illusion, or did you go in with a view that suddenly this industry has become extremely mature, clean and very honest?
It may look very, very irresponsible. I completely agree with you to really suddenly, jump out and say, I don't want to do it. But you know what? Like I said, I'm much happier if they are angry with me. I don't want to be angry with myself. I just felt one morning, I woke up that morning and I said that, listen, I don't want to do it. And that's it. So it's not like, it's not a planned thing at all. And I don't want to. I mean, I'm not the kind who's ever been. You know me, and I've been really upfront and straight. And I just didn't feel like it. I mean, I can't help it. Punish me for it, for God's sake. The only man who probably has a right to be upset with me is Shashi, because it came in quite as a shock to him. But I did try my level best to be a part of the entire thing, and I realized that it's beyond me to be able to influence any kind of change, and it's probably my incompetency that I won't be able to influence any kind of change. Even when the Bobby episode happened, I mean, I felt really bad that morning, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this award game at all. I said the only thing that I can probably do is just take a step back and probably deprive myself of awards. What else can I do?
You know, I'd like to start with you, Pops, and respond to what he said, saying that, you know, it was a sudden realization with him. He already was feeling the frustration of being part of an industry that is so dishonest. He's the second person this year to have pulled out. Of course, first was Ogilvy, which was also a very big shocker. What are your views? I mean, do you think they're taking a holier-than-thou stance just because of convenience, or you think there's actual depth to what some sections of the industry is feeling today?
I think sometimes, you know, we take things more seriously than we should. And when it comes to celebrating nice ideas, you know, what does it matter? There are three parties which are involved in this entire thing. It's not a huge game or anything. There is a client who has an obligation with the agency, an agency who has got an obligation with the client, and there is an award show. Award show has its own contract, its own rules. Clients and agencies have their own contracts, they have their own relationships. Between them, if they make an entry and then send it, because you can't send every piece of work. If you want peer recognition, you only send the work which peers will like. You don't send the work which popularity. For instance, you know, box office has nothing to do with winning an Oscar, correct? It is judged by peers, and then peers whatever they like. In the same way, this entire award game is always that way. If they all qualify to whatever rules the award committee has set, then they are fine. You know, then why all this unnecessary big show about what is scam? The scam is the most abused word, correct? This word, because what is scam? You know, at one point in time, people said it should be paid for. Suddenly, social media, digital came, and then nobody pays for anything. Correct? So then the definition of scam has changed to something else. And now, if I don't win, it is a scam. If I win, it's proactive.
You would agree that, you know, this is a really critical acclaim?
I would have agreed if it was a pure creative pursuit. And like, I don't have a problem if somebody is writing a book, or somebody is doing a painting, or somebody is making a film, because they are supposed to stand on their own.
Sure.
So their critical acclaim, fine. Here we work for client. So that when the idea I get, it should be about around a brief. So that's the whole point. If I get an idea which has got nothing to do with the commercial viability, then I don't think it belongs to advertising. It may belong to fine arts. No problem. Here you expect the client to pay for your time, and then here you are sitting and thinking that I'm like making fine art, which is where I think the
I mean, if that is so, why would any client will encourage you, correct? Why would you do anything will come out? It won't, you know, it will stand within the agency. Good ideas have no proven path. They can come from anywhere, and then people will excuse you for any shortcuts which you have taken to arrive at a great idea. And I mean, there many times one idea one client does not buy, and then you go and then pitch for another client, he buys. And then you win business because one client does not have any vision. You know, the entire myth about this entire WhatsApp campaign is all about that. They won the business because of that idea.
Shashi, you know, I know that you've been trying for a long time, trying to break your head, put in more rules, more stops and checks, and, you know.
Personally, for me, I feel work should be about scale, should be about size, which is real, which moves consumers.
Okay.
That's my personal view.
Okay.
But when I run the AGC as a chairperson, I run what is happening because this is a global phenomena.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a phenomenon which happens all over the world there. So this is, as Pop says, this is accepted norm all over the world. Till the world changes, and which is my quibble with Raj. I mean, Raj is on the AGC, that thing. I think this is something which is there all over the world. To change it is going to be that much tough, because that's what it is. And the fact is that 90% of the judging was over when he withdrew. So which is a bad precedent to set up.
Absolutely.
So I thought, you know, I mean, he's young, he's hungry, but probably maturity would have been to hang in there and then from within make whatever changes you want to make.
Right, right. Raj, if I can get you in at this point, I know that, you know, you seem to be very, very frustrated when you were part of the AGC this year and during the judging process. Give me the reason as to, you know, what brought you to this breaking point where one morning you decided to just abandon all your responsibilities. Come in on you know, why that sudden knee-jerk reaction.
one of the points I've even brought up when I was on the AGC is the whole point of scam, where I was, in fact, one of the conversations, I was almost shut up by saying that, look, it's a part of our creative culture. You know, how can I sit down and understand that scams have to be a part of our creative culture? I mean, I know for a fact that, and I'm saying that it's not like I have not indulged in it. I have done a lot of proactive work. I know what it is like to work for an agency and when you are under pressure, and it's not just creative people, for God's sake, right? I think there's a whole machinery that works alongside it. The intent of getting awards has driven people to take, do scams, and it's like almost like doping, right? And to win an Olympic medal, you're going, but nobody in the Olympic committee says that, doping is our culture, for God's sake. And I'm not interested in, and the moment that is the stance, then there is very little anybody can do at the end of the day. I'm not trying to be a saint, I'm not trying to be a poster boy, I'm not trying to sit down here and trying to be holier than thou or whatever. Like I said, I mean, first thing when the thing went up, there were people posting some of the work that I've done in the past when I was with Grey, or maybe in the big initial years of Creative Land, where we probably had put down some of those things. Of course, we've all done it. I mean, somebody has really worked hard to put that entire thing out, and I could see a lot of things coming in. But I also got a lot of people who stood up and said that, look, I'm glad that somebody is calling a spade a spade.
I think it's a very interesting point that Raj makes. First of all, Raj, I am at least not angry with you. It's actually you have taken a decision very few people can take. And Raj is so right. It is the whole agency problem. Even the suit has to work really hard to make great work happen on a genuine piece of business. It's very difficult, and people don't want to take that, go through that difficulty.
It's not so gruesome, correct? There are popular awards, FEs actually select all the effectiveness, correct? They don't care about how edgy the creative is, and then we respect that point of view. When it comes to creative awards, where the benchmarking is creativity, originality, and execution and craftsmanship, correct? And when that is been awarded, why people from other quarter raise their hand up and then say that this is not effective enough, correct? Where are the figures about effectiveness? This is God's sake. This is not about that. There are separate awards.
So, but Pops, I mean, do you think, the last week we saw heads roll because of a scam ad going sour or proactive work going sour, right? So, clearly, the entire industry is still reeling with that bad hangover because nobody thought such a drastic call would have been taken. I'm talking about Bobby Pawar. So, do you think that post this incident, people will think 3-4 times, at least with a multinational client? I mean, if it's a Indian domestic client, it's still okay; it'll pass through. Before they take up, very, very edgy creative work, because I know for a fact that Shashi Sinha has been bombarded with calls from people who've got entries from multinational clients saying, should we withdraw? What if these things go out of proportion? So people are feeling the heat. So what would be your some have withdrawn.
Yeah. I don't know whether it is Bobby or somebody, whoever has made it, those are rank bad ads.
Okay.
That's the reason why all criticism.
Sonali, that's a tragedy.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to Bobby for what happened to him. Having said that, they didn't even qualify for the round 1 judging. So it's a thing, it's a double whammy literally the way it is. But to get back to the point you are making, I personally feel this whole thing has happened because clients are endorsing it. They may be endorsing it for 2 reasons. One is they also want to win awards, or they may be endorsing because they are agency partners, they work with us, do a great job. Let us, if this is peer recognition happening, let us allow them to have their place in the sun. Okay. Whatever the reason, it could be a combination of both.
Right.
And I definitely feel there will be a wake-up call. Like you correctly mentioned, already the churn has started. It's not fair for me to put it out in public space. But a lot of people are now feeling queasy because we are midway. We are flying at 30,000 feet in the air. I am reasonably sure next year you will see some course correction happening.
Raj, if I can bring you in, there have been allegations made and the industry, you can't blame them when they say that you possibly are just being convenient because you're not possibly winning big at Goa Fest. Not that you were not aware of what the outcome of Creative Land Asia Metals have been. So maybe you've just been convenient because you just didn't do well.
Yeah, everybody is allowed to make their own interpretation. If we have won, we won. If we have not won, we have not won. I mean, it's also quite funny for the management committee to say that, look, we will look at all the entire the tally, and then probably decide whether we want to announce their awards or not, or whether we want to withdraw. So which means that if I won a lot, they'll withdraw, and if I won few, then they will show that, look, this is the reason they did it. I mean, come on. Okay, it's too immature. I don't even want to get into these kind of petty conversations. If somebody feels that, it's their goddamn right. That's their birthright. I am not interested in having a conversation. I've won enough in my life to really worry about all those little things.
We're going to get Shashi to respond to that.
I personally want to respond to that.
Yeah.
I think it's an unfair allegation he's making, because I'll tell you, I have been saying consistent. I've been consistent that if I have my way, it's a bad precedent that after 90% of the judging is done, someone is walking out. And there's nothing personal with Raj. It's a concept. We're setting up a precedent for the future. So if I have my way, we should go through with the awards there. The only reason I've been guarded in the statement, it's not my decision, it's an 11-member AGC. The AGC will meet on the 5th morning at 10 o'clock in Goa and take all the calls regarding all the withdrawals. So I think Raj is misguided when he says that, we're going to take a call depending on his
But he might be right. I mean, you personally might want to, have the metal, have his medals announced. But tomorrow, if the AGC decides that no.
Sonali, can I tell you something? We are talking in an industry where everyone knows everything.
Absolutely.
By the time Raj walked out, everyone knew what the winners are, what the scores are, but they're all in the jury.
Absolutely.
Raj had 3 or 4 people of his members in the jury who were judged.
Right.
So people were already there. I think broadly speaking, everyone knows where they're scoring.
Absolutely. Right.
So I think that's unfair to say that we are waiting for the results. All of us know what the results are. I knew what the scores were, he knew the scores. So I was not saying it, and I'm the one who made the statement. I was not saying it out of that we will wait for him to decide what he's won. We know what the winners are. It was a packed precedent. I'm saying Raj is a friend, but I'm saying it as a principle, it's a bad precedent to set up that tomorrow for lifelong we'll be stuck with this problem.
Pops, he talked about a very interesting thing, which I'm sure you're also facing it, is KRAs. Awards are part of your KRAs. You have pressure not only from your own CEO, like Bobby must have had from his own CEO and his global, structure to actually deliver awards. I've also been given to believe that KRAs are based not only for you, but even for your CEO, based on how much awards you win. I mean, is that actually true?
If it were to be true, I would have been a millionaire. It is not true. I think it's a myth.
Big.
Yeah, it's a billionaire. I think it's not true. It is always icing in the on the cake. But let me tell you, that it is only myth. The award-winning agencies are scam agencies. People have nothing. They hire 300 people. They sit 24/7 and only do this. How do we run businesses? Why do clients come? We handle, correct?
Don't agree with Pops. I know that there are networks, and I'm not alluding to Pops, but I'm saying there are networks where awards is one critical component of your KRA. It's not the only component, it's a critical component. But I'll make a counterpoint, which is a point to various people who are taking this issue on. Yes, there should be some way to reduce proactive work. But walking away from the festival is not an answer. As if you believe so strongly in it, forget the past, what you did in the past, you're reformed now, you're not reformed, then enter those categories where you have real work. And stand up and make a public statement. I'd be happier if someone made a statement saying, I'm going to enter only television, film, which is, and integrated where 95% of the work is real work.
Which Ogilvy should have done ideally, right?
Whoever. So, I mean, whether it's Ogilvy, whether it's Raj, whoever. So, people walk in at various point, even to Balki, I'll make the statement. I say, Balki, you come in, and I'll make a plea to all the agency people. If you want to make this change from within, come and make a political statement saying, we will only stand up and do work for these 2 entries. We will not enter whatever we feel are, so to speak, proactive categories. They are known categories. I don't think I have too much of brains to know where print or outdoor or print craft or whatever. Now, of course, the poison is spreading, but so I think that's the other way of doing it.
I'm a bit confused on where is the industry consensus here. I mean, is scam good? Is scam bad? Because if the industry can come to a consensus and proactive work is actually good for all of us, then nobody will talk about proactive work anymore. It will become a dead subject.
Okay. Sorry to say this. I mean, I'm a part of this industry, but this industry and consensus is a bit of an oxymoron. This industry has never been able to come to a consensus, whether it's a pitch fee, like nobody could come to a consensus, like everybody said, according to, Shashi, correct me if I'm wrong, according to AAFI, you're supposed to be getting pitch fee, right, for every pitch that you participate in. You know the truth. So this industry has, let's be real, this industry has never come to a consensus. Last week only I had a discussion with an account management person, and quite interesting, said that, like at one point in time, they are all called, and the creative guys used to say that I've got a fantastic ad for a stapler or a rubber band. Now he's saying that go find a client, Now, saying rubber band, why should a rubber band ever advertise? Or a stapler ever advertise? So, this kind of ridiculousness it has gone to.
I think one of the things, which is actually making lots of traditional creative agencies insecure, because today we have got 9 different verticals. Yes. So I have been used to, as a creative agency, dominate in television, print, and then I am the dominating agency of the year. And then suddenly you can't take it that today digital has the same vertical, same Grand Prix, and then same kind of awards. So today they can be the agency of the year, or a direct agency can be the agency of the year, or a design agency can be the agency of the year, or a production house can win as much as you can, or a radio agency can win as much. So therefore the insecurity of an agency, that myself, my domination, one standard huge agency, that entire insecurity is what making people say that there are too many awards, too many verticals. Why are we clubbing digital guys into it? Why are we clubbing direct guys into it? Why are you clubbing somebody else? Today's reality is, unless you collaborate, you collapse.
Yeah. Very well spoken. Can I just add to what he's saying? Some statistics. Beautifully spoken. What I call democratization of the business and democratization of the awards. So 5 years back, there would be 18 to 20 organizations which were winners. Today we have allowed anyone to enter, not only agencies, anyone can enter. And last year, I can't share the results at this point in time, last year there were more than 75 organizations which were winners. I think that itself, I rest my case. Ogilvy, they won a Grand Prix last year. I'll do a quick check, he'll know. You know where they won?
Digital. Absolutely.
Entire nation stood up and clapped for the work like second-hand smoking. Correct? You could argue any which way. You can argue it as glass half full or glass half full. Correct? Yeah. It's not Marlboro ad. Correct? It is for second-hand smoking. Marlboro is the image which they borrowed. But brilliant ideas. We all applauded that it's a brilliant idea. Correct? And then and what you send to Cannes, and then if you win at Cannes, and then we have nationalistic pride, and we all stand and applaud. Correct?
Yeah.
And then the same piece of work which comes at Goa Fest, you say this is dopey entry. But to me, one thing which I wanted to say to both Ogilvy and Creative Land Asia, this is the only awards. Goa Fest is the only awards in the world which is actually organized by the industry. If you have any problem with the rules, come to those meetings and then change the rules. You can't do hartal outside the parliament and then make the law pass.
What my concern is that if you are taking a stance against, say, in this case, proactive work, then don't go anywhere in the world where proactive work happens. At Cannes
exactly. This is the point I was trying to say, that there is no difference between a Goa Fest or a Cannes or a Spikes. Everywhere the same thing happens.
Pops, do you think you will take a stance given what has happened in the last 1 week? Do you think you will ever take a stance saying that you are totally off proactive work? That you will only win on real scale?
Everything is real. Who are you to say what is real, what is not real? It's a black hole.
And there we go again.
You're victimizing me and then putting me in a corner, literally, and then say, we all do. What is life without, creativity? This colorfulness and little bit of debauchery, little bit of fight adds a lot of color to the business news.
Right, and on that very philosophical note, we've come to the end of the show. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all the 4 gentlemen who joined us on the panel today and thank them for speaking their mind. Thank you, Raj, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly did. Do take the time and drop us a line at brandequity@etnow.tv, or alternatively log on to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/brandequity, and tell us what you think of this very contentious issue. You could do the same on Twitter at Brand Equity Live. Now do catch the show next week as we bring you brand equity straight from the beaches of Goa. Until next week, adios.